there was stuff to do, but you could easily run out of stuff to do as well if you weren't too careful. So if we probably would go back, I'd probably go back like they're in a spot where, like with like Bali and Thailand, they're gonna be the next one, you know, like that next sort of country that's similar to those, big for tourism. You know, a lot of people like going to Bali in Indonesia. A lot of people going to Phuket in Thailand. Like I've been to those areas and they're great. And Cambodia is pretty much like Siem Reap's going to become that, like another one of those areas to visit like that. But it's still got some time to develop. It needs, it does need that time to develop. And probably in the next 10 years or so, it's probably going to get there, 10, 20 years. Which will be really interesting because, you know, it's a great country and it was a great holiday. Cambodia itself. Oh, shit. Hi, buddy. I wouldn't have heard you unless you hit that. You would have started punching me. Alright. Let's just start getting a few things in here. Oh, shit. Another one? Really? I think there's another one coming this way. I can... No, there you are. Alright, let's just die. Alright, you're not near me. He's over here somewhere. Alright, all I'm trying to do is organize some inventory. So let's just get some inventory going. And ignore some of this. And... you know what? That will do for now. Oh, I can't remember what I was saying about Cambodia now. But yeah, I think I was talking about like how it's similar. It's similar to like ooh, diamonds, wonderful. It's similar to Thailand and Bali. It will eventually catch up to them for sure. It will take some time. And then that kind of ended the whole time we spent in Cambodia, and then had a very I don't know how to explain it. It's more of like not a near-death experience, but just you feel like you were gonna die. So we flew in to Cambodia from AirAsia. And then we were going to fly out of Cambodia and we'll fly into Japan. So we'll head into Tokyo. And we had a flight that took us from, we were flying from Cambodia, Siem Reap, to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And from there, we would then fly direct to Tokyo. What we didn't know, so we had a lot of confusion with it. This is awesome. With it because we didn't know Cambodian Airline is actually the sister company of Vietnam Airline. And so that confused us a lot because we had different flight numbers and everything, and that was very confusing. But the flight from Siem Reap to Ho Chi Minh City is very short. It's only about 50 minutes, if that. So I kind of expected it to be not a great flight. I didn't realise that we were going to be flying with Cambodian Airlines, which actually wasn't that bad in the end. But it was my first experience flying one of the small, very small, probably seated about 50, maybe 75 passengers. And it was one of the very old looking propeller planes, you know. It kind of felt like I was off to Jurassic World. It was like, I'm pretty good with flying. I'm very experienced with flying. I've flown all around the world. But I still had not flown a propeller plane. So it was a bit tense, that flight, so to say. I was a bit tense, but I wasn't too. I kind of came to the fact that yes, this is our flight, so be it. Girlfriend wasn't too happy. she's an okay flyer, but she struggles with some flying, and yeah, she hadn't been on one of those planes either, so she was kind of freaking out a lot as well. So that was an interesting experience, and one that I definitely won't forget either. But when we eventually got to Japan, oh my god, Japan was phenomenal. I love Cambodia, but Japan beat it. Japan, out of the 2 countries, Japan beat it. There was just so much to do. There was so much to see. It was... oh, diamond, sweet. It was just a great country. It really was. And it's like... we kind of fitted the 2 countries in together because we, like, you want to see as much of the world as you can whilst you know, when you can. But, you know, we didn't realize Japan's got so much going on for it, really. And there's, like, the best way to describe Japan is that they really are in their own bubble. You know, their world, you know, their country, they don't have too much of some of the other countries out there and their bullshit kind of getting in. They're very much... you know, we're Japan, we're happy with what's going on here, and they just keep it that way. And it's great. It's really good. Language barrier was difficult. Language barrier isn't a problem in countries like Cambodia, Bali, Thailand, because they're so tourism driven that everyone knows English. So that's not too much of a problem. Where Japan, not so much. It was very 50-50. You know, like we did some top stuff. You know, we went Disneyland, we did Disney Sea, we did Universal Studios, and like even our hotels, like there was English, but there was complications. You know, there was some people that really had no understanding what the hell we're saying, and too right. You know, like you know, the fact that some of them know some English words is great because, you know, if besides the basics in Japanese, you know, if someone tried to really ask me a question in Japanese, I wouldn't know. Like, I know quite a lot of languages, but only just basic, you know, what you need for basic communication, and that, you know, if someone was to turn around to me and try and have a full-on conversation, yeah, no, I can't do that. So for even still, like a lot of Japanese people, how they actually did know some English, like my hat's off to them for knowing, and it did make things a lot easier. But what actually did make Japan really easy, which I loved the system. I remember reading about it before I left, and I wasn't too sure if it was like everywhere, and it pretty much was. Like we went to Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. And the only place it wasn't in was Osaka, but they call it Mr. Handy. So Mr. Handy, it's literally, these hotels give you a mobile phone. They literally give you a mobile phone. It has data on it, and you can use it for travel. You can use it for, you know, getting maps and everything, and it's for free. You know, it's like, yep, you're using a hotel, so by all means, here's a mobile phone for free that you can use whilst you're here and whilst you're staying, so you can, so you don't get lost. And that was such a great system. I loved it. It was the best. Whoever, like, I would probably say only the Japs probably would come up with that, because I don't know of any other country that do that. They probably are, but you know, if they were the first, then it doesn't surprise me, because they were just so ahead in technology. The stuff that you'd see and the stuff you'd hear about and the stuff they'd talk about was just, it was mind-blowing. I know I've kind of gone off track of like really what we did on holiday, and I will kind of get back to that stuff in a second, but it's just, yeah, like you know, they were talking, we did like, one of the things we did when we were in Tokyo, we actually did a day trip tour of Mount Fuji, and the tour guide we had was so, like, she was just so great. She just told us a lot about the country, and stuff that you probably in your mind wouldn't be like, oh, is there a point in knowing? But really, it was very interesting. Like, she just knew her facts, and she was really good as well. But when she started talking about bullet trains and what Japan's plans are in the future, and as you know, I'm an engineer, so the idea of bullet trains and everything I love, because they're just amazing mechanical vehicles. And just talking about the future bullet train, the one that will be, it literally be coming out and being commercialized in a decade from now. So, you know, we're looking at 2028. We're talking here. Ooh, hello. You got interesting eyes. Yeah, so in 2028, this is coming out, this train that she's talking about. I'm just gonna do that so I can harvest this stuff. And the speed that it will be going, oh my god. It's something like, I think it was like 600 or close to, it was like 700 kilometers per hour. And it goes that fast that they've actually had to consider the issue with Japan's geology and its location. And the issue with Japan is that it has a lot of earthquakes. So what they've done is that they've actually the rail, you know, if traveling at this speed, it's obvious. Like when traveling at a speed of, say, okay, let's say it was 700 because I can't remember the speed, but traveling at a speed of 700 kilometers an hour, if you're on the land whilst you're having, say, a magnitude 9 earthquake, the planet's surface vibrates so much and moves so much that when you look at it, it literally looks like waves. It's like you're looking at the ocean, because that's the vibration moving through the planet. And if you were traveling at that speed, even just a normal train, most likely it'll derail. But the damage that would do to their economy and their system with bullet trains is saying if they're not fast enough to, or they're not safe enough to withstand earthquakes, which happen all the time over there, could be a big problem for them. So they've come up with an amazing system which is using magnets. So the way the system works is the train's levitating. It's going to be levitating by quite a bit, actually. It was something by 6 or 7 inches off the rails. So you've got the track, then you've got the wheel, and then pretty much roughly that amount of distance, I think, inches about that much. So yeah, you've got literally, like, if it was 6 or 7 inches, so say it was 6, you're looking at half a foot off the rails. This train is floating because of magnetism, of magnets, and traveling at that speed. It's just a phenomenal feat of engineering, and it just blew my mind. And when she was talking about it, I was like in awe. And then I did more research on it later, and I was even more in awe. You know, having, you know, personal nerd moment, I guess. It's just they're so ahead of time. But I feel like I've waffled on so much on this part. But to get back kind of with the stuff that we did whilst in Japan as well. So as I said, we did Mount Fuji. That was the second day we did that. So the first day was a bit full on. So we landed. So we did quite a lot of flying and everything, and getting into Japan. I'll take that because I needed that. And getting into Japan, what time did we check in? We got in, like, we had to check in at 2. We got there just before 2. Ooh, more diamonds. Wonderful. We got there just before 2, so we literally just quickly checked in. And then we had to... I had to figure out the rail system. The rail system there is phenomenal. It just took me a while to figure it out on the first day, but then afterwards it was easy. But yeah, then we had to figure out the rail system and get ourselves over. It was actually like it was like a 40-minute rail journey from where we were. But in Japan, they have Mario Karting, where you can dress up as your favorite Mario Kart character and drive the streets of Tokyo in a go-kart dressed as that character. So that's what we did. So I was dressed up as Mario, girlfriend was Luigi, and then we also traveled with 2 friends as well, and one of them was Bowser. He was Bowser, and his girlfriend was, I think, also Luigi. Oh, no, she was Yoshi. That's right, she was Yoshi. Because we also had 2 randomers with us, and they were Luigi and Mario, so it was 2 of us. But yeah, that was phenomenal. Absolutely loved that. It was the best, and it was totally worth the money. Driving around Japan dressed up as Mario Kart, like, and everyone just waved at you, and everyone was so nice, and yeah, they kind of treated you almost like celebrities, I guess, in the area, because they knew, like, people, oh my god, diamonds everywhere, yes! It's a good way back to getting back into Minecraft. Yeah, so that was just great. Absolutely loved that. And then we went straight from that to have dinner. So we had sushi and all that sort of stuff. And we came to love ramen later on. I never had ramen, but I had heard of it, and ramen is just phenomenal. It's beautiful, beautiful food. I've actually had it like twice since being home because I really enjoyed having it there. And as well, then we did this thing called the Robot Restaurant, which is everything Japanese that you can think of, just thrown into a random mix of music, robotics, theater show, acting, anime. It was just mind blowing. It was great. It was it's so hard to explain. It was just so over the top. Like Japanese animes are quite over the top, and it was literally just that, but in a grand scale of actual seeing people doing it and robotics, and yeah, that was great. And then yeah, as I said, the second day we did Mount Fuji, which was also great. Loved that trip. So cold. So we went up to what they called, we were going to go 5th station, but we went to 4th station on Mount Fuji, so it's kind of like, 5th station is kind of close to halfway up, and 4th station was, I think, was 400 or 300 meters below it. That was just due to, there was high risk of avalanche that day, so we had to go to the 4th station, which was okay, so that was pretty cool. But then afterwards we did went and had lunch, like a traditional Japanese lunch. I had all these different things to taste, and that was great. As being a foodie, just having everything thrown at you, saying, yes, try this, and I was like, yes, please. And then after that we did a boat ride to a cable car, where that cable car took us up to the top of, I forgot what the mountain name was, but it was a very close neighbouring mountain to Mount Fuji, so you can get a nice view of there. And that also had a little temple on top and everything. I think it was called no, the lake was called Lake Ashi, but it was near that. And yeah, so we did that, and oh my god, it was so cold. It was so cold at the top of that mountain. It was like, it was great, beautiful views, but holy shit, we were kind of a bit under. Oh shit, son of a bitch. Oh, I just saw the green and I thought it was a plant, but no, it was that fucker. Alright, okay, this is not the time to die with all this stuff on me. I've got decent amount of diamonds. I've got 23 there, I think I've got 23 there, I've got 46 diamonds on me. Alright, yeah, so it was super, super cold, but it was beautiful views, and it was great. And then what did we do? The day after that we did Disneyland, and the day after that we did Disney Sea, and Disney Sea was the day we lost our friends. So our mate Shane that came with us, so it was Shane and his partner, his girlfriend Natalie, or Natalie Jane, technically. They came with us, and his favourite Disney character is Donald, so Donald Duck. So he spent a lot of time looking around Disneyland the day before, trying to see Donald Duck, and he couldn't find him, and he was a bit disheartened, which, you know, is fair. Like, if it's your favourite character, you want to find him, and Disneyland normally has a lot of characters walking around, but he just couldn't find Donald. And then the moment we get into Disney Sea, bam, Donald's in your face. He's right there, right at the gates, greeting everyone, having a ball. Is that more diamonds? Yes, it is. You know, and